minds when they hear about Jesus, why did Jesus have to die? Like, what is the purpose of Jesus' death? And it's a great question, and one that I'm going to try to answer in the short amount of time that I get to talk with you. And I'm going to try to give you an illustration that maybe will help explain to you, something you can take away with you of why Jesus had to die. Okay. So first, let's start with Christ, with Jesus, the historical figure of Jesus. Like, Jesus was a real person that walked the earth. If you believe in God or not, like, you have to believe that there was a Jesus. It's like, was there a Caesar Augustus? Was there an Alexander the Great? Like, there was a Jesus who walked the earth. And we believe as Christians that Jesus did something amazing while he was on earth in regards to a Christianese word we like to use called sin. And that Jesus was born for the purpose of cleaning us and taking away the punishment of our sin. The sin that we've done, the mistakes that we've made in the past, the sins that we're involved in today and this week, and the sins that we're going to do later on, like later on down the road. That's inevitable because we're human and we make mistakes. And then the final thing in this equation is you. You, the perfect, the clean, the pure you, the drinkable you. Like, this is how you were designed to be. Like, when God created you, we've talked about this in here, he made you this way. But we know, because we've lived long enough, that something has happened to us. Like we have made mistakes. And we've almost tainted the water just a little bit. And our mistakes and our mess-ups, they've distorted our color just a little bit, just enough for us to know that something is not right here. Like, this is not how I was designed to be. Like, there's an element inside of me, we call it sin, that distorts and changes me in some way. And I don't want it in there, but it's inevitable because it's my nature that it is. So I'm going to ask for a little bit of help up here so we can keep defining what sin is. Because sin, like, sometimes sin is so natural to us that we don't even realize we're doing it sometimes. Like, it just comes second nature to us. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and I'm going to ask a few of you to be vulnerable with me. And if you can say yes to one of these questions, and that's now or sometime in your past, you can say yes to this. I just want you to raise your hand, and Beck's going to help you. And what you're going to do is you're just going to pour a little bit of this into you. Because you're just being vulnerable that I've done this. Okay? So just raise your hand and you come up here and start doing it. Who in here has ever woken up on the wrong side of the bed and you had a bad attitude and maybe you said something against somebody that was uncalled for? Who in here has done that before? Perfect. Very good. Can you come up and you can start pouring it? Raise your hand. I promise. No, raise your hand. That's going to help you. I'm going to ask for a couple more. Who in here has ever disrespected their parents? Oh, me. Maybe you spoke against them. Maybe you lied. Nothing called on you. Maybe you lied. Maybe you called them out, but you were disrespectful. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Do you want to come up, please? Help me out. Thank you. Who in here has ever lied? And maybe you lied to your parent or the person you're dating or your friend, and you lied to cover something up or because you wanted something. Paul, all right, remember, we're being vulnerable. We're being vulnerable. Who in here has ever cheated on a test? Okay, and last one. Who in here, and this could be emotionally, this can be physically, who in here has ever hurt somebody or hurt themselves?
I don't hurt myself, I hurt nobody.
Do you want to come? Anybody? Do you want to come forward? So here's the problem. That's perfect. All right, so we know this is definitely not what we're supposed to do. And it's not just the physical, like we can see this and know this is not what it's supposed to be. But you know that the things in here don't belong, because that's why whenever you do lie, and you lie to someone that you love and that you trust, why you feel ashamed and guilty. It's why whenever you cheat, like on a test or something, like you feel guilty after, even though you're glad you got that good grade, you're like, oh, it's not setting right. Like, this doesn't belong here, and that's why whenever you hurt somebody, even though you're the one doing the hurting, you still feel a little hurt after it. And so God looks at this murky version of you, and he says, this is not how I designed you. Like I made you so much clearer than this. This is not what you're supposed to be. And so God, he said, okay, you can't fix yourself, so I'm going to send in the perfect rescue mission to save you. And the name of that mission, the name of that rescue effort was Jesus. So Jesus lived this perfect life. And we believe that he wasn't tainted by the sins of this world. And as he lived this life, like he was the perfect candidate to take on the sin. So the question is, what would happen if we poured the sins of the world into Jesus? And that's what the whole Bible's about. In fact, I encourage you to really read it sometime in all of its detail. It's a fascinating story. But the story of the Bible is what would happen if the perfect candidate decided to take the sin of the world and of everybody else, and as a perfect person decided to take it in on himself. What would happen? In fact, that's exactly what Jesus did. No matter how much sin was poured into Jesus, he decided to go to the grave, and he took all the sins of the world, and he allowed that sin to actually kill him.
What happened?
And he came out of it perfect and blameless. Like, in fact, he didn't just leave the sin in the grave, he left death itself in the grave. And he rose, he was given a new life, and throughout the whole process he remained perfect and pure. So here's the deal in all of this. We know we're not supposed to be here. We know something's inside of us. And accepting Jesus is not just accepting that this story might or might not be true. It's not just recognizing, okay, that's cool, I'm still messed up though and I can't get myself out of it. Accepting Jesus means there's something inside of Jesus that I need. Like, if I want to get this mess out of my life, I can't do it on my own. And so, inviting Jesus into our life is inviting him to come and to do something in our life that we are unable to do on our own.
Hey! Did you see that?
And
you send me that video?
something amazing happens. We're set free. Something we're unable to do on our own. We need something more powerful than us. We need something more pure than us. We need something greater than us to rescue us from the distortion that we see in our life and that we welcome into our life. And so that's why Jesus' death is so important. And that's what Jesus' death means for you, is that you can be made pure whenever you accept him into your life to clean the distortion out. So what we're going to do in our small groups is we're going to give you a chance to respond. None of this matters if you just look and observe it. It's like the Christmas tree and accepting the gift. You have to say, yes, I messed up and I need to be made clean. And so on the response cards you're about to get, you have a couple of options. Maybe you've heard this story and you're like, yeah, I'm in it, I know this, I've already walked in, and I've already committed my life to Jesus. That's great, I want to know about it. Maybe you're like, this sounds awesome, but I don't really know what it looks like. Like, I still have questions. Like, what does it mean to accept Jesus into my life? Why did Jesus have to die? And how did he die? And why did it have to happen in that way? Or maybe you're here and you're like, you know what? It's just not my time. I'm still not ready. Wherever you are, we want to hear it. We want to hear where you're at. We want to respect it. And we want to just see how this hits you. So you have a moment in your small groups to answer those questions on a piece of paper, and then Beck will come up to wrap us up.